I'm Evelyn the Advocate, and today we're talking about something that can truly protect your peace, your safety, and your sense of self boundaries. I'm joined by Melanie Davis, who's here to add insight to this conversation. Melanie, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Evelyn. I'm glad to be part of this important discussion.
Let's start with the basics. When we talk about boundaries, we're talking about the limits we set to protect our emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Boundaries define what is acceptable and what is not. They protect your identity and your self-respect. They are not about controlling others. They are about honoring yourself. Melanie, would you like to add anything to that?
Just that healthy boundaries are important. They're essential for any respectful relationship.
This is where it gets serious. A lack of boundaries can open the door to abuse. Abusers often test limits slowly. What starts small, like disrespect or dismissiveness, can escalate. If you don't enforce boundaries early, harmful behavior can grow. Many people think abuse starts big, but often it begins with subtle violation.
That's true. In fact, those small moments matter more than most people realize.
Exactly. And boundaries act as your early warning system. Let's talk about what it looks like when your boundaries are being crossed. You feel uncomfortable, but stay silent to keep the peace. You feel pressure to say yes when you actually want to say no. You feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. Your no is ignored or challenged. Also, pay attention. If you feel drained after interactions, you start questioning your own needs or feelings.
Those are powerful indicators that something isn't right.
So why do so many people struggle with this? Fear of rejection or abandonment, people-pleasing habits, past trauma or conditioning, being taught that boundaries are selfish. Sometimes it's cultural, kind of like in my culture. Sometimes it's family-based. It was like that in my family too. But many of us were simply never taught how to set boundaries. That was my issue.
Yeah. And, that lack of teaching really shows up in adulthood.
Now let's talk about what you can actually do. Identify what feels okay and what doesn't. Be clear and direct in your communication. Stop over-explaining your no. Here are some simple phrases you can use. I'm not comfortable with that. That doesn't work for me. I need time to think about it. And here's the key. Consistency. A boundary only works if you enforce it. People may push back, especially if they benefited from your lack of boundaries.
That pushback can be really tough, but it's part of the process.
Boundaries show up in every type of relationship. Work, protecting your time and your workload. Family, protecting your emotional space. Friendships, mutual respect and reciprocity. A boundary can never be a one-way street. Romantic relationships, emotional, physical, and communication limits. No matter the relationship, respect is the standard.
Absolutely.
What happens when someone keeps crossing your boundaries? Reinforce the boundary clearly, limit access if needed. I limit access by blocking and deleting. That's the method that I use. Recognize repeated violations as a serious red flag. I can say this. People have different aspects of boundaries. I've experienced more millennials, not to be judgmental, but they get very offended when you ask them a question. That's not a good thing because that shows a lack of communication skills, in my opinion. You may need to distance yourself or leave the situation entirely.
Yes, I agree. Safety must always come first.
Let me leave you with this. You are allowed to take up space. Your needs matter. Your voice matters. Your boundaries matter. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It is necessary.
And it's one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself.
Thank you, Melanie, for being a part of this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
If this message resonated with you, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, protecting your peace is not optional. It's essential. I'll see you in the next video.